Welcome to another episode of Traffic Light Protocol, the digital forensics podcast. I'm your host, Clint Marsden. Whether you're tuning in from the bustling tech hubs of Silicon Valley, Europe, or down under in APAC, you're in the right place if digital forensics and incident response are your passions. Here on Traffic Light Protocol, we dive deep into the challenges, trends, and tools shaping our field, from dissecting complex cyber threats to sharing expert insights on how to stay ahead in this ever-evolving landscape. If you're like many of our listeners, whether you're a young professional getting started in forensics, or you've been doing forensics for a long time, you know the importance of continuous learning and staying at the cutting edge of technology. And hey, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you'll never miss when our weekly episodes drop. We're all about staying connected, and that means that you'll always be in the loop with the latest in digital forensics and incident response. So grab a tea or grab a coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. You're listening to TLP, the Digital Forensics Podcast with Clint Marsden. Hey everyone, Clint here. Welcome back to TLP, the Digital Forensics Podcast. Today I want to talk about a tool that has been floating around in our circles, mentioned in Slack, Discord, used quietly by some, ignored by others, rated 1 star by others. It's called IRCO, short for Incident Response Copilot. It's a custom GPT I made for ChatGPT earlier this year. And if you don't know, custom GPTs are just personalized versions of ChatGPT that are built using OpenAI's tools. You can think of them as a specialized assistant with a tailored personality, knowledge base, and behavior, and they're custom built for a specific use case or audience. And I've built and provided instructions for IRCO based on the requirements of DFIR and SOC analysts. After testing it and using it daily in my role as a SOC analyst, I was quite impressed by how consistent the output is. And this isn't just a general purpose chatbot that fills in the gaps with guesses and hallucinations. IRCO actually understands what we do. It doesn't pretend to be smarter than you. It just helps you work on investigations cleaner, faster, and with more confidence. So in today's episode, we're going to unpack what IRCO is, where it fits into a real-world investigation, why most people are underusing it, and how to build it into your workflow without slowing down. Let's get into it. Here's the thing. IRCO, it's already known to a lot of DFIR people. We know it's gone a little viral on LinkedIn, been mentioned in CTFs. Some teams have got it bookmarked. Some people know about it, but it's only got about 1,000 conversations that anyone's had with it so far. And this is because there's a gap. And it's not a gap in knowledge, it's a confidence gap. People just don't know what it's capable of. They're not sure when to bring it in. They don't have any examples of how it's helping anyone mid-investigation. If you've ever had a major cyber incident, you know it's hard to stop and just try a new tool. And it's not because you don't want to. You just don't know if the benefit of trying a new tool is worthwhile and is going to help you, or is it going to waste your time, and those hours that you've spent trying to get that tool working could have been used to actually investigate the incident. The result of this is that people know about IRCO, but they're just choosing not to use it yet. So what IRCO does, and what it is, it's a specialized DFIR assistant that's trained on real investigations, real tools, and real threats. And its job is to help you during a live incident or a CTF. It can assist you with post-incident reports, can walk you through CTF-style learning scenarios. One of my favorite features is it can translate technical jargon into easy to understand reporting for executives. And it understands your tasks, your methodologies, when you're using tools like Velociraptor, Cape, Sysmon, Yara and Sigma, and that just scratches the surface with some of the tools that it can talk to. It gets the difference between event IDs 4625, 4688. It knows where to look in the registry, carve files, what it means when rar.exe shows up in the middle of a timeline. You can think of IRCO as a senior analyst or the approachable boss who's seen it all. Let's get practical by explaining how to use IRCO. I've included a link for how to get into the tool in the show notes, or you can just go into ChatGPT and select GPTs from the sidebar menu, then search for IRCO, that's IRCO. Here's how you'd actually use IRCO during your day or during a forensic incident. If it's a live incident, let's say you're looking at suspicious RDP activity. You can ask IRCO, how do I contain a potential RDP brute force attack? IRCO will respond with recommended logs to capture, the relevant event IDs to look at, and some triage tips as well. What about you're doing a post-incident report? You need some help in processing that evidence. The evidence that you've got are prefetch, amcache, and you've got some EVTX logs. And you say, help me correlate these artifacts to confirm lateral movement. One of the concerns for a lot of people is that they don't want to upload the confidential artifacts to ChatGPT, and there's a warning message that you see when you first open IRCO that tells you not to include things that are confidential. In that instance, the way that you can get around having to upload the files individually, you can say, tell me what tools I need to analyze these artifacts and where to locate them. What about training or a CTF? Say you're reviewing a memdump. You can ask, what's the process list showing in this volatility output? And the way you can do that is you can just send it a screenshot. And if there's no confidential information in that screenshot, and probably most of the time there wouldn't be because it's just file names, or you can just block it out by using MS Paint or your favorite image editor. What IRCO is going to do is it will explain concepts and indicators like injected threads and hollowed out processes. What about reporting to stakeholders? You can say, summarize this credential theft case for execs. And you would give it some context, some sanitized data from the report that you're writing. And what you'll get back is a clean and readable paragraph, and it's still technical, but it minimizes the jargon that's being used. So IRCO is not just a helpful assistant. It is structured. It provides relevant and grounded information. And it's been instructed, the way I've built it, to get to the point without giving you this high five cheer squad that ChatGPT has been known to do in the past. What makes IRCO actually work for analysts? It's actually about understanding how we think. And the tool clarifies your intent before giving you answers. It will ask you questions. It will adjust the depth based on your skill level. And it always ends with, here's what to do next. It doesn't just throw you a wall of theory. It gives you the right next step, and that's why it works. What I like using the tool for most is to explain the reasons why we are doing things. When I was a kid, I remember I wanted to get cheat codes for games. We all wanted to have unlimited lives or unlimited ammo for weapons. When I first released the tool, a few people, rightly so, raised concerns about AI giving people the answers without teaching the concepts behind it. And I built IRCO to give the reasons why the output is the way that it is. And this turns each incident into a teachable moment that builds your experience over time. If you want to build IRCO into your workflow, start small. and start when you are not in the middle of a massive incident. Start using it, start to get familiar with the tool. Here's 3 things that you can do today to get started with IRCO. The first one is ask it to explain a single artifact. Something like, explain what shim cache is in 1 sentence. So we're kind of using it like Google here to get very targeted information. You could get it to validate a detection rule. You could try saying, check this Sigma rule and tell me what I've missed. Or you could also use it in a timelining exercise. And you could say, correlate event ID 11, prefetch, and MFT entries. Each of these activities, each of these prompts, they give you a small win. And from these small wins, you can start to understand how useful the tool can be, figure out your own workflows, figure out the best way to use it when you are working with real life incidents. If you're using tools like Sysmon, Velociraptor, and looking at logs with the Windows Event Viewer, IRCO can help with context. You can try some prompts like, show me how to collect DNS cache with Velociraptor. Write a Sigma rule for detecting rar.exe used on desktop folders. Or how would an attacker move laterally using psexec, and what should I see in the logs? You'll be surprised at how accurate and focused the answers are and the explanations that are provided alongside. And if something's off, well, now you have a teachable moment. So that might require some additional research. Like everything, nothing is perfect, but IRCO can become part of your loop, part of your incident response workflow. And I talk about the teachable moment where if something seems off, we, as analysts, we should be going and doing a bit more research, a bit more of a deep dive to clarify that. And that's what using the tool in a non-live incident scenario can help with, to understand the limitations of the tool, to understand what it can do for you, and understand when you might need to do a bit more research. So sometimes it does miss the point. I wish it was perfect, and I wish that it had all the correct answers. But the fact of cyber is that things move quickly. Tools have deprecated commands, and MS Defender is actually one of the worst in this department. Meta values that exist today can be removed overnight. So with that in mind, just let me know if you experience some issues where IRCO is giving you a bit of a runaround, and I'll do what I can to update the tuning, and then I'll also update the knowledge base to improve it for next time. One of the last things that I want to mention, you don't need to memorize what IRCO can do. At first, I was stuck in the old way of learning. I thought, I should read all the docs. I've got to learn every single function. But that's not how you build habits, and that's just cramming for an exam. Instead, a better way to do it is to think of situational triggers. When you've got friction during an investigation, ask IRCO. Need to explain something? Ask IRCO. Not sure what artifact matters? Ask IRCO. If you're writing a report and stuck on wording, ask IRCO. So use your real work as the context. The more that you use that real work, the more useful it becomes. Use your real work as the context. The more that you use it daily, the more useful it becomes. IRCO, it's not here to be smarter than you. It's not here to replace your expertise, your experience on the job. It's a second brain. This is artificial intelligence. We're not trying to pretend that it's smarter than it is. It's a second brain when you're deep in the weeds. It's a colleague who doesn't get tired, and it provides structure. And when your brain's fried after working on an incident for a week, this can be quite a useful solution. Use it to investigate smarter and report faster and avoid missing steps that could cause gaps in the investigation, and in particular, gaps in the report. So next time you're mid-incident, building a timeline, or cleaning up a messy investigation, why don't you give IRCO a go? Try with one question. Try getting it to review one artifact. That's how you can build the habit, getting 1% better every day. All right, that's it for me today. If you're using IRCO already, I'd love to hear how you're using it. It helps me figure out new prompts and helps me figure out how I can tune it to be better and help the user experience get better for everyone. I hope this has been informative. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening today, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, or one of the other podcast platforms. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.